Hey, just wanted to share my experience with my career and something that I wish I could tell myself 2 years ago. So I hope it resonates with someone or someone can relate to it. But yeah, so yeah, as I just got into the workforce and my friends are getting into the workforce too, I just noticed a trend of just unhealthy relationship with how much people make. It's not a new concept that I'm talking about. Is that people attach their self worth to how much they're making, and I feel like so much more now people are defining themselves by how much they make and comparing it to other people and, asking like, "Hey, what is this person doing?" And it might be because I'm in my mid-20s and people are trying to figure out, "Hey, did I pick the right career path or, whatever." But I fell into this camp too, I feel like until recently. So last year I graduated with a bachelor's in computer science and it was a hard market. I, had some experience with internships and, did a bunch of projects. And it was just during the time when it was not the best time just to graduate entry level for having a computer science degree. Software engineering jobs kind of went down. And from what I've read, people are saying that the junior dev is slowly dying. So after 7 or 8 months of trying to find a job, I applied to I think it was 1,200 places, got 2 or 3 offers. Both of them were way too far away, and the pay wasn't, great. It was actually worse than probably what I could make at retail, which is crazy, and then, got ghosted from a lot of places after doing, like, 5 rounds of interviews. And then once I got, a pretty good offer, I would say, like, 75, it was 75K to basically move in the middle of the country, and it was for a small company, that did contracting, and during the interview, the guy was talking about the wokeness of companies and how his company, wasn't liberal like that, and he basically, like, disparaged a lot of his team during the interviews, which is crazy because I just, like, asked him, like, "Oh, what's the culture like? How like, what are the age and stuff like that?" And he had nothing good to say. And, he just seemed like he didn't want to be there and he was going to be my boss. And I was like, you know what? I don't really want to uproot my entire life for 75K to be belittled by this person, and at least behind his back. And it just, it did not excite me. I look back on that and I'm like, maybe it might have been a good idea to take it just to suck it up. But at the time, I was like, I'll find something better. After a few, I think it was like 10 months of applying for jobs, I, couldn't find one. And I was like, I need to start working and getting paid. Started applying to IT jobs and I took a level one support tech IT job. My plan was basically like, you know what, I'll put my time in here and I'll apply to other jobs while I'm here. And worst case scenario, I'll have experience as a IT support tech. And from what I heard, you can move up pretty kind of fast. For within a year or two, you can try to get to like two. And if you get a bunch of certs and know what you're doing, well, from what I heard, is it seemed like a good opportunity. So I took it. It was pretty much the same as retail. The pay was pretty bad, but the company was good. It was on site. It wasn't like one of those off-site places that I've heard a lot about and I've been warned not to go to, specifically like places that work for a bunch of different companies in IT. I took the job and I'm going to try my hardest and, try to get a pay raise, and pay isn't good, but I'll apply for a bunch of other jobs. I'll get here super early, I'll leave late, and that's exactly what I did for the first 3 months. The tickets were a little hard at first, but then once I got our systems down, it was like, it's basically repetitive. It was like doing HDMI and resetting passwords and, helping internet access and helping with VPN. So it was pretty simple. And I minored in cybersecurity and I was like, you know what, I can do the cybersecurity here. I would have time in between tickets and I was just doing more and more security stuff as much as possible and just like try and take on as many projects as possible. Went up to my boss after like 6 months. I was like, hey, I'll take on as many projects as possible, like whatever you need me to do. And I was doing literally as much as I could, like as many projects as they could give me. I was managing our like devices. I was setting up updates. I was trying to do network stuff. I was doing security stuff. I was literally like looking through all our audits and like making full on like papers about like what we can do and specifically like how certain things can help us. Specific settings that we could change on like all of our devices to whatever, not the point. But I did as much as I possibly could. Taking on every project, saying yes to literally everything. And after 5 months, I was like, hey, like, I've been trying to put on my time. I like get here early. Like, I'm first one to do tickets, the last one to do the last tickets. I'm just doing as much as I can. I love those guys. Like, and my team was great, and they were like 30-year-olds, and they were making jokes, and we all had fun. Boss was a little younger. He was like 35 or something. So he was pretty chill, and I was like, hey, like, is there any way that I can get like a pay raise? I really, I'm trying to pay off these student loans, and I'm trying to pay off these student loans, and I'll do anything. Like I'll put in more work. I'll do more projects. I'll take on more stuff, more responsibility, and whatever you need me to do. And he basically told me like straight up, he's like, um, there's just no, there's just no room for really a pay raise. He's like yeah, and he basically said it wasn't up to him. It was mostly how it was budgeted, and I was the person who took the position, and that's just in the foreseeable future they just had no money specifically for to get a raise. And he told me earnestly, he's like, and also like there's nowhere to go up. Every position was filled from 2 3, and it was like a small team. And he's like, they're not going to make the team bigger just in growth wise. And he said he's been in the same position for 3 years, the person under him for 4, and the person under him, and the other person's been there for like 2. He's like, even if they were to do pay raises, you wouldn't be the first one. And he's like, also, they don't really do that. They don't really do evaluations. They don't really talk about it. And it was super disheartening because I was like, you know what? I've been told like, you do all this stuff. And I know it was 5 months, but like just to hear that, and I was like, what about like in a year, like 6 months? And he was like, honestly, no. He's like, I don't see, any raise, maybe a little bonus, but there was just no foreseeable growth in sight. And I just stopped doing as many projects. I got noticed at first, but they're not going to fire me, and they're not going to give me like a raise or anything. There's actually no prospect to it. Like the more I was taking on, the more I could fail at, and I've realized, let me slowly turn it back. So I kind of put my foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Yeah, I'll say for a cert, and I'll basically just keep applying to other jobs, and try to get a security job, and do CTFs and all of that, and just do other stuff. Meanwhile, like still apply for software engineering jobs, even though that was getting harder to do. I was just like, I'll do that. And the more I was trying to study, I would have like 30, 40 minutes in time in between the ticket, and sometimes it'd be 20, and it would just be hard to like get in the zone, especially like even during school. It was just hard to even focus, and let alone trying to focus in a 20-minute interval on like studying flashcards. It was just a lot harder. So in the smaller times, I was just getting I honestly was just fuck this. And I got so frustrated. I just started watching YouTube like within 20 minutes, just playing Wordle, figuring out whatever I could do that wasn't my job, because I just wanted not to be there. And every fucking every HDMI and internet reset ticket I had, I just was like, it kept pounding me. It eroded my morale. It was just like, yeah, like that's all I am. Like I could be replaced with someone who just got out of high school, like a Gen Z person that knows how like internet works. Like some of the tickets were just so mind numbing, and it was like you didn't turn on your monitor, and you gotta say it in a sweet way. But it's like after the 5th one of that day, you're just like, this is really what I'm gonna do for next year or 2 or foreseeable future. And I just despised it. I despised it so much, especially just knowing that like there's no way out. A job's a job, and I wasn't gonna complain to my friends who like couldn't find any, but like it was just so mind numbing. I would work from 7:30 to 6 p.m. And I would get home and I was just so tired. I would apply for jobs for like 2 hours and then, try to work out or something and just fall straight to sleep. It was like seeing that be all I could do for the next or 6 months to who knows until I could get another job. And honestly, as time went on, I got depressed. I just didn't want to even study for my security exam, my different certs, because I was like, if this is what it is later on, like I can't imagine. Um, so yeah, I was like, you know what, even studying for these certs aren't worth it. And I got so disheartened because I was like, this is all amount to be. And I carried myself with the fact that like, I'm making an okay amount of money, and I was sad. I mounted myself to this, I mounted myself to doing these Wi-Fi reset tickets and HDMI cords, like stuff I would help my grandma with or my uncle with. It's like it could be worse, but it's just like I don't know. For some reason, it got to me. It got to me a lot, and so I just didn't care. I was watching YouTube, and I was like, you know what, I need a game, and I saw RuneScape on Twitch, and I was like, you know what, they have iPhone app. I hadn't played it in 14 years, and I was streaming it for like a week, like a few months prior to that, and I was like, I'll download the app, and I'll do fishing. In between tickets, I would just do this. I would wait until I got a ticket done instantly and open my phone and had this up. And I would just fish and drop all my fish and fish again and keep dropping it over and over again. And I was like, this is something I can do. Staring at this in between a ticket for 20 minutes, I realized something. In between doing these monotonous tasks and these tickets and these repetitive tickets, I kept eroding my morale and like just my being, who I was, like, in my identity. And if I was so bored that I was looking forward to like leveling in RuneScape while in between tickets, I realized that I should be doing something else. And it really lit a fire under my ass because, people were telling me like, at least you have a job, at least you can put this time in and, I know you're getting paid like shit, but over time you'll get paid better. And, if you put your time in here, then, you'll get a promotion and people will notice, people will notice. And I'm not saying they won't, but you lie to yourself and kind of get complacent in like a specific spot and you're like, you know what? Pay is okay. It could be worse. And you start telling yourself these things. And I think it's like farming. It's just like you're sitting there doing the same thing. And I don't think this is what life should be. It shouldn't be RuneScape leveling. The tickets were the same to comparable to doing this over and over again, right clicking and hitting lure or clicking on my phone. And I had that realization as I was doing this. I was like, oh my God, like what I'm doing in game is what I'm doing in life. And I wasn't seeing any value. I learned everything in the first 6 months of the job. And after 8 or 9 months, I was just like, this is going to be the same thing for the next year or two or the foreseeable future. And I was just like, I can't have my life be this 11 hours a day doing the same exact thing over and over again and seeing no change, like maybe my rod will change or how I fish, but like I'm not learning like anything. I'm not doing something. I'm not doing something I'm proud of. I'm just lying to myself and saying like, you know what, at least I'm making ends meet and it's a job. But like you shouldn't strive for that. And it really, really like I just had a realization. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta do something where my skills will be appreciated and I can be happy in what I'm doing and proud of my work and there's something that I'm creating. And maybe that's just specifically because the IT's part wasn't, my cup of tea. So I saw that there was another posting at my job at my company, and it was a completely different division. It wasn't software engineering, but it's like adjacent. So I went out of my way and I asked the person of the department, which I'd help, which was good because, I got my foot in the door. I knew everyone at the company because I've helped everyone. And since I'd tried really hard to, have a good attitude while I was helping people. They didn't have a lot negative to say about me. So I went up to the person and I said, "Hey, I saw this was open. I have the credentials for it. I really think I can do this job." And he's like, "Okay, you can interview for it." And it was a very specific. It was a specific type of job that I did not know. So I started doing Udemy courses on it, and I started watching YouTube videos prepping for the interview, and I did pretty good, I thought. And basically, I asked my boss, I was like, "Hey, can I interview for this?" We talked, and we talked about how there's not a lot of growth opportunity for me here, and I just think this is a great opportunity. And he said, "Yeah, for sure." He's like, "I'll try to put a good word for you." And it was a, quite good, like quite a bit more pay than I was getting. So I was like, you know, this is a growth opportunity, and it was something where I used my degree and my brain. It's like it had a more integral role in like the specific place I was doing, and I could see what I was doing in my actions. So interviewed and got it, and um, it's not exactly what I want to be doing, but it is something that I feel better about, and there's just better, like more opportunity for it. I feel like I'm not doing a monotonous thing, and there's stuff that I can take ownership and have responsibility, and projects I can do, and stuff that I can take, like, feel good about doing. It isn't something that I'm just doing over and over again and seeing no change. And I just wanted to like share that. Um like, because at the end of the day, your life and your job shouldn't be some monotonous grind that you just do day in and day out, that you can just turn your brain off until you perish. Same thing. That should be what you do in your free time with RuneScape. You should turn your brain off and do these menial tasks, because you know what? They make you feel good. But I don't think that you should, be okay in a job where you have to lie to yourself and you have to do these tasks, and they're just not something you want to be doing, and they're not who you are, and all of that. And there's something to be said about creating your own worth outside of a job, but I think it's really important to find something that you can take ownership over. And you know it's important to find a job where you can grow. And I mean, I did grow at my job adjacently. And I think it's important to find the ways and avenues that you can just see growth in your life. Um, it's okay to be complacent from time to time, but it's important to motivate yourself at some point to go forward. And if you're okay just doing the same task, it's just like, at least hone that and find the best way to do it. And I would say master it. I think that's a good way to take ownership over it. And if you find that you can't, and you don't have ownership, and you're just not okay with, the output that you're doing, or even you're just not getting paid for what you're worth, I think it's important to like find other avenues of growth and try really hard to change your situation. And I know a lot of people can't, but I just wanted to, I kind of just wanted to talk about how like doing monotonous tasks over and over again, is like something that like you should do in RuneScape. You should do in your free time, but like spending your entire life like not really growing, I would say. Even in RuneScape, you see like you level up and you can do different stuff, but like just seeing in real life time, like what I'm doing isn't going towards anything. I'm growing. I'm not getting paid what I'm worth, and I should seek some other avenues for like growth or doing something else. It really opened my eyes up to, if my job got to this level of how I feel when I do this game, where I'm doing other tasks while I'm doing it, I'm watching TV shows or watching YouTube, I should probably find something else. This is what I'm doing for 11 hours out of my day. I should find something where I'm proud of it. Not, if not proud, I can master. If not that, then thing like a place where I can grow my skills for somewhere else. And this is how like RuneScape like changed my career path. Really, it was like thought I'd be doing IT, and I kind of got into a different department doing different stuff. And, it's not the exact thing I wanted to do, but I'm happy doing it right now. And I think I'll be happy doing it for the next year or two. And, I'll reassess when that comes up. And, I just changed my situation. It's not exactly what I wanted, what I thought I would do. And, the more people talked about, like, your career path is different and there's no way you can really plot it. Like, only a few people can plot what they're going to do for the rest of their life. I was told that by so many old people and all the people I like got mentored by or talked to, and I realized how true that is. You can have your eyes set on something that's so good, like as a goal. It is important to have goals, I would say, but don't harp on it and don't let that goal define you. Because for me, when I didn't get, software engineering position or something that I really wanted for years, I let it define me. I let it break me, and I let it just I gave it so much power that it defined who I was and what my worth was. And I would just say, follow your goals as a guide more so than expectation. And, when something comes up that's just not what you thought, like not a part of your plan, try to come into it with an open mind and be okay with changing up on your goals because, that's just what they are. They're just guides, and, they shouldn't define who you are or who you will be. I don't know. It's basically just something I wanted to share. It's like something I wish I heard about. Wish I could tell myself 2 years ago is, focus on growing, and if there is an opportunity where you are right now, just try to find other avenues of growth. Don't let it define you. It's okay to be stagnant for a little bit, but like, you'll find your way. So, yeah.